Executive Chairman Daniel Levy departs Tottenham Hotspur after nearly 25 years. Get my full reaction here. I've given it about a day or so since this news broke, so I've had time to think, analyse his time at the club. So what you can expect from this video is a reflection and fun analysis on his time at the club, what this means for the future. Be looking at the job generally though that Daniel Levy's done. That's the main part of this video, and decide whether he's changed Tottenham for the good or for the bad. So make sure you're staying tuned to the end, because I'm going to be as balanced as I can. Reminder though, if you are new to the channel, please like and subscribe. So this news has come as a big shock. I think firstly it's important to say, I think we need to read the statement from the club, and it's a statement that you can find on their website, which the headline is Tottenham Hotspur announces departure of Executive Chairman Daniel Levy. It goes into it, and it's, by the way, Thursday the 4th of September, 5:40 p.m. It says Tottenham Hotspur announces that Daniel Levy has today stepped down from his role as Executive Chairman after nearly 25 years. Tottenham Hotspur has been transformed over the last quarter of a century. It has played in European competitions in the last 18 of 20 seasons, becoming one of the world's most recognised football clubs, consistently invested in its academy, players and facilities, including a new world-class stadium and state-of-the-art training centre. The club has also competed regularly at the highest level, enjoyed a number of fantastic on-field successes, including the recent Europa League Cup win. As part of its succession planning, the club has made a number of senior appointments in recent months. Vinay Vernakashi was hired as Chief Executive Officer, CEO, with Thomas Frank as the new men's head coach and Martin Ho as the women's head coach. Peter Charrington joined the board and will now step into a newly created role of non-executive chairman. This is all part of the club's ambition to ensure that it's set up to deliver long-term sporting success. Daniel Levy said, "I'm incredibly proud of the work I've done together with the executive team and all of our employees. We have built this club into a global heavyweight, competing at the highest level. More than that, we have built a community. I was lucky enough to work with some of the greatest people in the sport. The team at Lily White House and Hotspur Way, to all the players and managers over the years. I wish to thank all the fans that supported me over the years. It hasn't always been an easy journey, but significant progress has been made. I will continue to support this club passionately." Peter Charrington, the non-executive chairman, said, "I'm very honoured to become non-executive chairman of this extraordinary club. And on behalf of the board, I'd like to thank Daniel and his family for their commitment and loyalty to the club over so many years. This is a new era of leadership for the club on and off the pitch, and I do recognise there's been a lot of change in recent months when we're putting in place the new foundations for the future. We're now fully focused on stability and empowering our talented people across the club, led by Vinu and his executive team. There are no changes to the ownership or shareholder structure of the club." That last bit is critically important. So my reaction to this, I'd just say, even now, it still is a big shock. It feels surreal. I want to thank Daniel Levy for everything he's done off the pitch in terms of the new stadium, new facilities, and everything he's done on the business or commercial side. Hopefully this is the end, though, to the poor managerial decisions, from sackings to appointments, and I do believe the fans should unite behind Tori Vinick, who I think are the wider problem. So that's the thing, I forgot to mention the intro as well. We're going to be discussing who I think the problem is, because for me, Daniel Levy single-handedly turned the club into a big, profitable and sustainable football club, and he deserves credit for that. However, I think it's definitely now time to go. On the football side of things, just to focus on for a second, 2 trophies in just 25 years. A club of our size, we know, isn't good enough. There's no doubt about it. And I'm glad that Levy has stepped down. However, for me, he's not the biggest problem with the club. It was just a problem, simple as that, with his kind of football input and his poor managerial decisions. I think Enoch, for me, is the bigger problem here. Putting profit for glory, punishing loyalty, and an outdated wage structure which hinders our development and success as a football club. Because if you don't pay the players what they want or what they deserve, whether you think they should be paid that much is another thing or not. But just look, I would say, footballers done a lot, look across the board, and we just aren't up there. You can't achieve success because you can't keep hold of, or you can't retain, you can't attract top players. Some will always be motivated, but I think you also have to recognise, although it wasn't, I didn't like him that much, and I think it's the benefit of the club that he's gone. I think you can thank him for everything he's done, particularly off the pitch. definitely the right time to move on, and I wish him all the best. We are happy with the Levy news, and so we should be. He does deserve credit for that business side. Done a great job on the commercial side, from new stadium to new facilities. It's possible to be glad he's gone, but also recognise the good work that he has done, if that makes sense. So, no, I'm still just trying to process all of this. It's difficult, but at the end of the day, for me, Daniel Levy's time at Tottenham, whether we like it or not, has been fairly successful in terms of he's made this club, he's made us competitive in Europe, and like we said, there was 18 of 20 seasons in Europe, so he deserve a lot of credit for that, and that's what I'd argue also is on the pitch stuff, football stuff. However, that is where he'll be criticised for, and for me, I see him as just a pup ahead for ENIC. I think to deliver for ENIC is very tough. I think I don't like what they do. I don't like what they stand for. For me, I blame them for, well, it is them, the wage structure. I blame them for a lot of the club's problems. But there's absolutely no doubt about it. Levy's decisions have been very poor. I mean, just briefly look at them, from sacking Maurizio Pochettino to hiring Mourinho and Conte, proven winners and not backing them. Then you sack Mourinho just before a cup final. You sack Conte when we're in the top four. Then you hire Nuno. Then you don't give him any more than 5 minutes. We get the decisions wrong. Putting Stellini in charge, then Mason in charge. We've gone through some really poor decisions and haven't given managers any time. So, on that extent, football side's been poor. And in terms of rating his overall time at the club, it's very difficult because you have to bear the on-the-pitch stuff and off-the-pitch stuff. But one he deserves a lot of credit for, in terms of he's made us this multi-kind of global brand, F1, new stadium. And because of the new stadium, we can hopefully be a giant in the future to come, because we now can spend every summer within reason without having to worry about FFP and PSR, and that is not being funny. That's a huge thing that we take for granted, the wonderful new stadium. So Levy, in my eyes, has gone down as a successful chairman of Tottenham, but someone who overstepped their stay and should have kept away from the football side of things. We thank him for his contribution. Definitely time to move on. Peter Charrington being that new and non-executive chairman this time, a new created role. I don't know much about him. I don't know how he get on. I don't think too much will change, but I think this does show that protests do work, not being funny, and several reports are saying that he was pushed out rather than he choosing to leave, which does make sense. I think he'll keep his kind of share, but he's not going to be involved in Tottenham from what reports are saying and from my understanding. So overall I think Levy's time has been good, but I've been very critical of him. It's hard to recognise that. That's why I wanted to leave it a day deliberately to do this video. It's very difficult to be honest and go, look, he has done good things for the football club. Sometimes it's annoying to admit when you want the guy out. However, I do think this is the benefit of the football club. I think it's gone through a lot of change. I mean, I don't know how much change a club can go through in one summer. So it's something that, Spurs fans will be discussing in great detail, I think, for the rest of this month at least, if not more, until the end of the year, because it's such a big thing. It's a historic day in our football club, whether you like Levy, don't like Levy, in terms of when you have a chairman here for 25 years. That's an awfully long time. So I think what this means for the future, I do think we have a lot to look forward to. I don't think there'll be a new ownership or anything like that anything soon. I think the club made that clear in the statement. What is clear, that fan protest does work. I think it affected Levy and the family. I think ENIC were aware. In my opinion, I think ENIC made the decision based on, or asked him to step down. I thought he'd say to you, step down, otherwise you'll be sacked. I think they've seen that, because they talk about it in the statement, or ENIC talk about separately, and sources around them, like you've got BBC, I think, and Sky, that said, like, from our understanding, ENIC are concerned about the protest and how it's directed at Levy individually and ENIC across the board. So I think the protests do work, so I'd give credit to anyone that has peacefully anyway protest, no more than that. So this is a big day. I wish Daniel all the best. Definitely the right thing for the club. I don't think this means that all of a sudden we're going to go on and become this heavyweight, if you like, and win trophies every season. I don't think it's going to be anything like that. I don't think that much will change. I think higher up is ENIC, who will put profit for glory. They're exploit fans. That's what they're about. And I simply don't agree with their model. So there's a lot of problems with Tottenham. It's very complex, very difficult. But you remove someone who you always worry is going to pull the trigger on managers, like Thomas Frank. If we lost the next 3 games, and if we really liked him as fans, which I certainly do, there's a possibility that Levy would trigger that sack button, as I call it, the panic button. And that's the worry. So good that he's gone, but I wish him all the best, would be my overall summary. But no, it's a big news for the club. It's, whatever way you look at it, is absolutely massive. So do get involved in the comments below about how you feel about Daniel Levy. I think overall his time at Tottenham has been fairly positive, and I think you can, dissect a lot of things at his time at Tottenham. But at the end of the day, you win 2 trophies for a club of our size in 25 years. There's just no way that is acceptable, and that will go down on the football side of things as a bit of a failure. I think he's done so many good jobs, but that's a real shame. And I think one thing that also shadowed his time at Tottenham is the lack of communication. I think that's a very, very big issue. No transparency with the fans. It just felt like, we were all kind of customers. But again, I think that's a victim of, in my opinion anyway, ENIC's problems. So ENIC's a bigger problem for me. I think Levy does deserve a lot of credit. I think his biggest achievement is definitely building a new stadium, state-of-the-art stadium. I also wish Peter Charrington all the best, and anyone else all the best. But it's a big summer for Spurs that still continue going into the autumn, full of change. Thank you very much for watching. Get involved in the comments below how you feel about this news, your honest reaction. I don't want any silly things. I'm glad he's gone, but don't explain why. I'm very interested to hear from you, but try and be honest and as balanced as possible. But massive come on you, Spurs.